Remembering Steve Jobs. Remember the legacy left behind Steve Jobs. I clearly remember the day when I read the Apple statement titled Letter from Steve Jobs. When we all saw the dreaded press release, it was clear that something was very wrong. It was a short note from Steve himself to both Apple board of directors and to the Apple community. Steve was succinct. He said he could no longer meet his duty and expectations as Apple's CEO. After reading the sentence, it was pretty evident what was come next. He has resigned. Steve didn't want to give up all of his duty as Apple through as chairman. He told the board to name Tim Cook as CEO, and he thanked his team for their work and friendship. Apple fans, writers, customers, investors, and employees all felt a variety of emotions. First and foremost, sadness. Steve had revived a company we all adore and turned it into the empire of epic proportions. He was the most brilliant business person of our time with an uncanny ability to empower people to do their best work. Would Apple be the same without him? That sadness turned it into the fear as people asked whether or not an operational guru like Tim Cook could lead Apple into the next chapter and keep it the most innovative company in the world. There was a great feeling of uncertainty about the company we love and the founder we admire. But the message was very clear. If Steve Jobs trusted Tim Cook, we should too. On October 4, 2011, Apple hosted its annual iPhone event. It was much smaller than it had been in the past and was hosted on Apple's existing campus at 4 Infinite Loop, home to the legendary Town Hall. This was Tim Cook's first event as CEO. You can spot lots of familiar faces throughout the audience, but someone was noticeably absent. Steve wasn't there. There was one empty seat in the front row with a simple reserved label on it. In Apple's traditional merit, proved seemingly out of respect for Steve. I firmly believe that Tim was preparing for what was about to happen. The next day, October 5, 2011, Steve passed away. Today, October 5, 2021 is the exact day marked 10th year since the legendary tech innovator Steve Jobs passed away. Making the Steve Jobs and Apple trilogy was a very meaningful work for us and especially for me. He was always standing before all of the group of early adopters. He led the trend and showed us that technology can be beautiful. He knew that what the audience wanted and showed and laid the vision. It was my honor to be born in the days when Steve Jobs led the golden heyday of Apple. Steve Jobs has inspired millions of people around the world and colored their beautiful moments. On February 24th, Tim Cook remembered Steve Jobs' legacy through a Twitter on the day of Steve Jobs' 66th birthday. In the Twitter, Tim Cook said, "Celebrating Steve Jobs on what would have been his 66th birthday. Especially in a year where so much kept us apart, technology brought us together in limitless ways. That's a testament to Steve's life and the legacy he left, which continues to inspire me every day." So, it would be meaningful to wrap up the Steve Jobs trilogy video with his best quotes. Steve Jobs used to start next company retreats by saving firm's chairman Jobs. Now it's our turn to read the best quotes from his long career. On August 22, 2018, on the day when Apple became the first publicly listed US company to reach $1 trillion in the market valuation, Tim Cook sent a note to every Apple members. Apple passed a significant milestone. While we have much to be proud of in this achievement, it is not the most important measure of our success. Financial returns are simply the result of Apple's innovation, putting our products and customer first, and always staying true to our values. It's you, our team, that makes Apple great, and our success is due to your hard work, dedication, and passion. And he also thanks to Steve Jobs and honored him. Steve founded Apple on the belief that the power of human creativity can solve even the biggest challenges. And that's the people who are crazy enough to think that they can change the world and the ones who do. In today's world, our mission is more important than ever. Our products not only create moments of surprise and delight, they empower people all around the globe to enrich their lives and the lives of others. Just as Steve always did in moments like this, we should all look forward to Apple's bright future and the great work we will do together. And Apple did not stop it there. On August 19th, 2020, Apple hit the market capitalization of $2 trillion on doubling its valuation in just over 2 years, and become the first publicly traded US company to reach the milestone and break the barrier. Under the deepest heart of Apple, there always is Steve Jobs' spirit. Jobs' genius came from deep understanding of human nature, and this is well reflected on his quotes, many of which capture the essence of what it is to be successful, to fail, and to live. One of the most famous Jobs quotes is "Stay hungry and stay foolish," a motto that followed him through life. However, Jobs also had many other sayings that are equal parts inspiration and profound. So here are some of the best. At first, quality, quality, quality. Great carpenter. When you're a carpenter making beautiful chests of drawers, you're not going to use the piece of plywood on the back, even though it faces the wall and nobody will ever see it. You will know it's there, so you will going to use the beautiful piece of wood on the back. You to sleep well at night, the aesthetic, the quality has to be carried all the way through. Jobs was at heart an artist. His sensibilities extended beyond what the customer could and couldn't see. On Jobs' insistence, the circuit board on the inner side of the original Mac was laid out beautifully because he felt it improved the overall products, even though no one ever saw it. We think the Mac will sell Julius, but we didn't build the Mac for anybody else. We built it for ourselves. We were the group of people who were going to judge whether it was great or not. We were not going to go out to the market research. We just want to build the best things we could build. And here's one more great quote regarding the quality. Quality is more important than quantity. One home run is much better than 2 doubles. The second, the craziest change the world. The people who are crazy enough to think that they can change the world are the ones who do. Apple's 1997 Think Different campaign was launched not longer after Steve Jobs returned to the company he founded. It begins with these words: "Here to the crazy ones, the misfits, the rebels, the troublemakers, the round pegs in the scare holes, the ones who see things differently. They are not fond of rules, and they have no respect for the status quo." You can quote them, disagree with them, glorify or vilify them, but the only thing that you can do is ignore them because they change things. They push the human race forward. And while some may see them as crazy ones, we see genius, because the people who are crazy enough to think that they can change the world are the ones who do. Due to the obsession to the perfect quality, revolutionary choices which flips everything, he always treated crazy person. But Steve Jobs has deepest passion to change the world. The third, not for the money. The bottom line is, I didn't return to Apple to make a fortune. I've been very lucky in my life and already have one. When I was 25, my net worth was $100 million or so. I decided then that I wasn't going to let it ruin my life. There was no way you could ever spend it all. And I don't view wealth as something that validates my intelligence. Jobs talks about his move from Pixar to Apple, where his goal was to create beautiful products, not wealth. The result was the one iPad, Mac, iPhone, and to the extent, Apple Watch. Being the richest man in the cemetery doesn't matter to me. Going to the bed at night saying you've done something wonderful at Apple, that's what matters to me. Despite amassing a fortune of over $10 billion, Jobs' focus was on creating great products, not lining his pockets. So, go back in the days to the original Mac development team, Steve Jobs encouraged him saying that it's more fun to be a pirate than join the Navy. We are here to make the dent in the universe, otherwise, why even be here? We are completely new consciousness like artist or poet. We are rewriting the history of human thought with what we are doing. That's how you have to think of this. The fourth, connecting the dots. For creative genius Steve Jobs, creativity is all about connecting the dots. Steve Jobs said, "Creativity is just connecting things." When you ask a creative person how they did something, they may feel a little guilty because they didn't really do it. They just saw something. It seems obvious to them after a while. You can't connect the dots looking forward. You can only connect them looking backward. So you have to trust the dots will somehow connect in the future. You have to trust in something, your gut, destiny, life, karma, whatever. This approach has never let me down, and it has made all the difference in my life. When I was 17, I read a quote that went something like, "If you live each day as if it was your last, someday you will most certainly be right." It made an impression on me, and since then, for the past 33 years, I've looked in the mirror every morning and asked myself, if today were the last day of my life, would I want to do what I'm about to do today? And whenever the answers has been no for too many days in a row, I know I need to change something. One of the Steve Jobs' main focus in life, especially toward the end, was death, and how the lifetime of the human is limited to the specific period of time, and all that you can achieve is limited to that time. The fifth, naked in front of death. Remembering that you're going to die is the best way I know to avoid the traps of thinking you have something to lose. You're already naked. There's no reason to follow your heart. No one wants to die. Even people who want to go to heaven don't want to die to get there. And yet, that is a destination we all share. No one has ever escaped it. And that is as it should be, because death is very likely the single best invention of life. It is life change agent. It clears out the old to make the ways for the new. Jobs emphasized again just how much of a force death is when considering where to go next, helping focus your mind on what matters. We don't get a chance to do that many things, and everyone should be really excellent, because this is our life. Life is brief, and then you die. And we've been all chosen to do this with our lives, so it better be damn good. It better be worth it. Jobs emphasized that everything we do in life should be meaningful. We should never do something without thinking just because it seems like the things we should do. And the last, be yourself and live your life. Your time is limited. Don't waste it living someone else's life. Don't be trapped by dogma, which is living the result of other people's thinking. Don't let the noise of other opinions drown your own inner voice. And most important, have the courage to follow your heart and intuition. They somehow already know what you truly want to become. At his Stanford address, Jobs encouraged free thinking. At university, Jobs dropped out, but continued to take courses that interest him, such as typography, and this resulted in the artistic side of Mac. Your work is going to fill a large part of your life, and the only way to be truly satisfied is to do what you believe is great work. And the only way to do great work is to love what you do. If you haven't found it yet, keep looking. Don't settle. As it all matters of heart, you will know when you find it. And he says that, I'm convinced that about half of what separates successful entrepreneur from non-successful ones is a pure perseverance. Then let's always have the courage to follow our heart and intuition and stay hungry and stay foolish forever.
Here's to the crazy ones, the misfits, the rebels, the troublemakers, the round pegs in the square holes, the ones who see things differently. They're not fond of rules, and they have no respect for the status quo. You can quote them, disagree with them, glorify or vilify them. About the only thing you can't do is ignore them, because they change things. They push the human race forward. While some may see them as the crazy ones, we see genius. Because the people who are crazy enough to think they can change the world are the ones who do.